Hey guys, what up? It's your girl Rebecca here again, coming at you with a long-awaited speed build. So this speed build I, edited, put together. It's been sitting around for a while, but I just really haven't gotten to doing the voiceover. So here I am today. Hopefully you guys enjoy this speed build. It is pretty long, but yeah, I did it over the course of like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. Took me quite a while to get all of the enclosures done. I didn't record everything, but as you can see from the title, it is Pride Zoo. It is the zoo that I did for Frontiers for the contest for Pride Month. Didn't win, not that that was really big of a deal, but I was super excited to make this. I used one of the pre-made lots. I believe that's for the Bernie Goodwin Memorial Zoo. I love this area. I wish we had access to the whole island, or at the very least they made it so that you could extend a little bit, maybe not the whole thing, but just a little ways out, because it is so nice to have a different, a small zoo where you can fill in everything, which is what I did with this one. It took me quite a while, but I did fill in almost every nook and cranny of this zoo. So yeah, I started off making a few things. I made the fountain that you see at the entrance, which I didn't record doing. Obviously I'm making the staff housing right now, which I really like. It gives me a very Mediterranean vibe, even though technically the zoo is more contemporary. I still like the way that it turned out, though, like I say, I didn't really try and match up themes. I just kind of tried to make it very bright, very nice, pride-oriented. I made a lot of things with rainbow colors. I really enjoyed making the stairs. It's a very simple way to do it. But for mostly all the stairs, they have rainbow painted up and down them, which was very very cool looking once it was all finished. But yeah, so this is gonna be a very long video. I understand if it's a little too long, especially since it's one of the larger builds that I did. But if you want to stick around and watch the whole thing, I would be very happy about it. And honestly, if you want to skip to the end to just see the end product, that's okay as well. I really don't mind. But yeah, and if you want to give a like and subscribe as well, if you do like how it ends up turning out, or if you just like the content, I would be much appreciated if you did. But yeah, so just going in here and trying to figure out the best way to put this together to make it look accurate and just pretty. But yeah, I add a lot of detail to this area in particular later on, which I believe I recorded. I'm not exactly sure. The last time I was editing this was a few months ago, so I'm not exactly sure what's coming up next, but I do know that I do add a lot of different details to this area, at least later on in the video. But yeah, for now I'm just trying to, finish off kind of the borders and just kind of figure out the way that I want this to look. I wanted the places underneath to kind of be outside storage. I don't really have any sheds or anything like that, but just trying to think of what would be going into this, since it is a staff area. Again, it's not too realistic. It's very what I like to call Planet Zoo realistic. They have a very good mix of realism and also just a bit of cartooniness. They don't have all of the normal details that you would have in a zoo, but they do have really cool looking staff hotel areas in some of the challenge modes and story modes, which I always think is cool. But yeah, so this is the first one that I make, the first enclosure. I believe I make 4. But for this one I'm making orangutans, or no, not orangutans, chimpanzees. Apologies. But I don't ever really make any ape enclosures or any monkey enclosures. They're not my favorite zoo animals, or animals in particular. They kind of creep me out. They're a little too smart for my liking. And every time I see them in a zoo, I'm like, why? Why did we think this was a good idea? Because they look too smart. And I do understand the conservation efforts that a lot of zoos go through to keep them in a good way. But yeah, it still does make me sad and a little uncomfortable, just because I've watched Planet of the Apes and I know how that ends, and it's not great. But anyways, I love this interior area. I don't really think I make another one like this in the zoo, but it's one of my favorite things that I've made. The entire indoor enclosure area with all of the climbing structures ends up looking very cool, and I believe I redo the borders to this area quite a few times just because I wasn't exactly sure what size I should be getting for them. I forgot to look at the Zoopedia. I suck at looking at the Zoopedia when I need to know like information. But yeah, it ended up being okay. They had enough room. But yeah, I was just really happy with the way that this whole enclosure turned out. It took me quite a while. I think this is the one that took the longest. All of the other ones I tended to do within like one sitting, but I think this one I came back to quite a few times. Just because I really wanted to get it right. I do add a second viewing area that I really do like. It's slightly themed when you go into the interior, but not super. So yeah, this is it. I didn't record everything. Like I said, I was really bad at recording building for this, mostly because I would just forget that I wasn't recording and like forget to press the record button when I first started, and then halfway through I would start recording. But yeah, so I tried to record some of the more important bits, but yeah, there's quite a chunk missing. But it would have taken hours to get it all on one video anyways, so it's not that big a deal, unless someone really wanted to see like all of the little nitpicky details. But I will probably be doing a walkthrough at the end of this. Not exactly sure, but there might be one. Again, I haven't looked at this edit for a very long time, so apologies. But yeah, this is one of my favorite areas, the roof in particular. I really was doing this trend for a little while in here, doing like the eco roofs. I love the way that they look, especially from like a sky view. I know even at my zoo we do have a few of them. Not that a lot of people see them in most zoos, but my zoo in particular is very hilly, so they like to kind of make the roofs look a little bit less, less stale and concrete looking. I really do like the way it looks in Planet Zoo in particular, though, because obviously we look at it from an aerial point of view when we're designing and creating most of the time, so it's really nice to see that kind of lush green on the roofs instead of just like, just the bland roofs that we normally have it look like. Sorry, I haven't done this in a while, so again, this is basically just going to be an apology video. I know I have been a bit absent on this YouTube channel. Real life things, 2021, it's basically the same as 2020. But yeah, but I really do want to get back into it. Things have started to settle down in my real life, so we'll see. But yeah, let's get back into the video. So this was one of my, like I said, one of my favorite interiors that I've done, like ever. I've done maybe like 5 or 6 like actually detailed interiors. I just honestly hate doing it. It's difficult for me, but I really did like how this one turns out. As you can see here, I don't believe I actually finished this fully, but I do end up doing like a little like staff garden, just where they can get like fresh veggies and things for the animals. Didn't do a whole lot to it besides maybe adding a chair or so. and obviously a little bit of growth on there for like crops and things. But I did add a sunroof for this entire interior as well. One of the things that I think Planet Zoo could probably improve on is the interior lighting, but there's nothing a sunroof can't fix in the most part. But yeah, so like I said, here I go, just putting in some planters. I tried to figure out like a good way to make these look like growing fruits or vegetables. Nothing too detailed, but I did like the way that it turned out, very simple. I do end up making stairs that go all the way up to it, but I didn't really put that into the recording just because it took me a really long time to make, like ridiculous amount of time for what they look like. But yeah, as you can see here, I am just making lots of climbing structures and lots of different places for them to go. That was one of the funner things of this build that I wanted to showcase, is all of the building like climbing structures that I gave them. The interior specifically was one of the favorite things that I did for this for the chimpanzee exhibit. I don't remember if I actually got it on video, like recording it, but it does look very nice, which I will show you guys later on in a different clip. But yeah, I really like the way that this turned out. I don't ever actually use these trees, just because, like I said, I wanted it to be like a Planet Zoo type build and less realistic. So I did use like the trees that they're like quote unquote required to have to be comfortable, which didn't really go with the biome at all, but it did end up looking pretty nice. But yeah, so I believe we're going to be finished up with this one soon, but I really did enjoy making it. Like I said, specifically the viewing point was really fun to make. I will fill that out later with some interior. All of the people actually do come up and view the chimpanzees from there, which is really cool. I know sometimes I'll make like full-on nicely decorated viewing platforms and like nobody's there. I keep forgetting that we have vista points now where I can place and like they'll actually go up to a space and look. But yeah, I don't think we had them when I was making this, or else I probably would have used them in a few more places too. But this was just yeah, it was pretty fun to make. Like I said, I was just doing some detailing. I used those little circle cutouts for the walls for them to walk through. Again, I know it's not very realistic. Usually there'd be doors that come down at night or for winter, things like that. Didn't really get to making anything that realistic. But yeah, I was really happy with the way that it turned out. But yeah, so now you can see that I'm doing a bit of the interior. Like I said, it was pretty fun to make this. I don't usually go through and make interiors. I did use a few different colors for them, a few colors that represent LGBTQ, different sexualities and things like that. Well, I don't know why I couldn't remember that word. But yeah, so it was really fun to mess with the colors. Like I said, usually when I'm making a zoo, I don't do very many bright colors or anything like that. I keep it muted and a little bit more toned down, just because in most zoos that I've been to, unless you're in like a kids section or something, it's pretty toned down, except for some advertisements and things like that. But yeah, and I guess it's just more my style to be a little bit more earthy tones and things like that. But it was really fun to use all of the colors that are available to us. Usually I'm just like, yeah, let's do some beige or some brown, and let's add a lot of floral designs, you know. But it was fun to make it very colorful and add tons of rainbows everywhere. But yeah, as you can see, I'm adding a little bit of seating in here. Nobody sits down there. But you know, just implied, and if some of them really do want to sit, they do have a place to rest. And editor Rebecca chiming in here. It's actually not chimpanzees, it's bonobos. Or I believe they're pronounced bonobos. Anyways, that's how you know that I never put any of these types of animals in my exhibits. I called them chimpanzees. Anyways, so on to the next build. obviously. So this build, I turned it into a hyena habitat, which I was very happy with. At the end, it looks very cool. I did use some of the, at the time, newer African pieces to build like the viewing area and to build onto like just the outdoor like area where people can come up and look at them. It was very fun to make. I loved doing the rock work in here. I tried to make this one more of a naturalistic exhibit. Their like shade structure and things like that is not like super realistic and very much more naturalized, but I like the way that it turned out. I also liked adding a bit of a rock, like there's like a little shade tree, like shade structure that I ended up making for this. And it turned out really well. I did like the way that it came out. But yeah, as you can see here, I really did put everything up to like the end of the map for this. Like, I don't think there's really anything else that I could have added, which was fun, and also kind of a challenge, especially given that a few of the different places, they were kind of hard to create in, like with the bonobo habitat. I did add a bit of hills to that one, so it was a bit more difficult to make, but not completely. But yeah, like I said, with this one, it goes right up to the edge. I wish, like, I know, whatever, it's like a specific map, but I think that they could have gone further out to the edge, because it just feels a bit weird that there's like a huge gap between where like the water ends and where like the zoo starts. That could have still been filled up more. But yeah, I did like the way that it turned out. As you can see here, I'm kind of jumping between a few different things. I didn't get to record this whole one, but I did like the way that it turned out. I do add a bit of shade here. I'm not sure if this is the exact tree that I keep, but it was really fun to make. I added a few of the faux rocks, a few of the faux trees, just to give it like this fuller, more, Disney look. Not completely fake, but also trying to give it that artificial vibe that most zoos have. Like, everything's not natural in zoos, and it looks nice sometimes when you put in like fake trees, fake rocks, things like that. It gives it more of a realistic aesthetic, in my opinion. But I did like the way that this turned out. It was a bit difficult because when I first made it, I believe that the hyenas could jump on some of the rocks. I think I fixed that sooner rather than later, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I really like making like the ditches and stuff look a bit more realistic. Most of the time they either have like just shrubs or they have water, but for this one, for some reason I really didn't want to do water. It just didn't look as nice. So I filled it up with shrubs and fallen trees, things like that, things that they could forage in if they really wanted to. But yeah, and as you can see from the jump cut that I did make the shade structure already, and I honestly think that this is too short. I think if it was real life, they would be able to jump up there and then hop the fence, but I don't think I fix it just because they're not going to jump out. Like, there was no real reason to fix it at the time, so I didn't really worry about it. But yeah, here I am just filling in a few of the empty spots. I really like this small little pond area. I think I put some fake fish in there. I can't really remember, but yeah, I really liked the way that it turned out. Like I said, I filled in every single crack and crevice that you could think of with shrubs, with little scenes. There is one scene, I don't know if I recorded it, I don't know if it's going to be in here, but where I made this like really cool like rainbow theme. I will show you the live portion of this if I don't have it in here already, but it was kind of like a little scene that was put together, and it had all of the rainbow colors in it, but it was very subtle and very pretty. Like I say, if it's not in the time lapse, it'll be in the live portion at the end. But yeah, just coming in here, as you can see, I was very obsessed with that grass when it came out, so I filled it in everywhere. But yeah, I love the way that this little area turned out. I love the way that the hyena habitat ends up turning out. It is a little barren in my opinion. I wish I would have added some more like shrubs and things like that, but I really was trying to go for the aesthetic of where the animals lived rather than the aesthetic of where they were being placed, like in relation to where the zoo is in the world. Just because I feel like Planet Zoo does a good job of kind of doing both. And as you can see here, I'm putting in a few different, like just nods to LGBTQ people. The entire hyena habitat had like a transgender flag aesthetic, which I really liked. I love the colors of the transgender flag. It's so pretty, and like very pastel and just looks so nice. And as you can see, I did put together a few shade structures for it that I really end up liking. I believe I have them up on the workshop. If not, I could probably put them up on the workshop at some point. But I really did like the way they turned out. I used some of the African pieces again. I was just really obsessed with all of the new pieces when it came out. Any DLC that doesn't have new pieces in it, at least in my personal opinion, isn't as cool as when we get like a bunch of new scenery pieces. Or well, not just scenery pieces, but like construction pieces and things like that. I don't know. I just feel like when we don't get them, I'm a lot less inspired to like create new things. I don't know if it's because we have like animal mods now, where it seems like we have an overabundance. Not an overabundance, because I love literally every single new mod that comes out. But just like an abundance of animal mods, and like I feel like a lot of people are more looking forward to like scenery mods to add to the like their abilities and to create and things like that. I don't know what I'm saying, but basically, you know, it's really fun to have more scenery mods, in my personal humble opinion, in DLCs. Simply because I feel like it's really fun to try out new types of builds, you know, different aesthetics that you can go for in your zoos. Like you can only do so much just changing the animals, but if you change the scenery, you change the building pieces, new roofs, things like that, it really gives it a different kind of cool aesthetic that you can go for, especially if you're getting new scenery like every 3 months or so. But yeah, that's just my humble opinion. But on to the build that we're seeing right now. This is actually going to be the African penguin exhibit. Penguin, whatever, however you say it. This is going to be the build for them. This was really fun to make. It was definitely a different aesthetic than I'm used to, but I was kind of trying to go for kind of an older version of what penguin habitats used to look like, with like the Arctic background and like just like a concrete background with just a very minuscule amount of land and then lots of water. It does, in my opinion, I think it looks pretty good. I know I did try, and here I am just going off on a tangent, going somewhere else. But yeah, I did like the way that this turned out. I did try to incorporate a bit of color into this one as well, I think, but I'm not exactly sure what I ended up with. As you can see here, I'm just trying to kind of, you know, look around, see what I can do with the colors of the LGBTQ flag. I didn't keep this because there was like no way that I could get the door to like be open without it looking a little janky. But yeah, I'm basically, this one is I think one of the cleanest habitats that I did. I do still fill it up a lot with different rocks, different grasses and things like that, but in terms of like the aesthetic I was going for, it was a little bit cleaner with the walls and just like the squareness of it. I'm not really used to just like putting so much plaster in like an exhibit because it really looks unnatural, but I do like the way that it ended up turning out. Again, here making a glass roof just to get some lighting in there, because it just, if it's not, it's kind of just a useless area. I don't super detail the inside of this, but yeah, I basically just put a lot of straw or hay down, bedding so that they can sleep, and then don't really do anything with the interior. But yeah, as you can see here, I'm just gonna be like looking around, trying to figure out like what I can do. I don't think I go for any real scenery here, or any real background, I should say. I tried a few different things, trying to like give it some more color, and I think I just end up going and really going at like the scenery pieces and or not the scenery pieces, but like the shrubs and the rocks and things like that to give it a more natural aesthetic. But I do end up on the walkway, I do end up making a few different colorful choices that I really ended up liking. But yeah, as you can see here, I'm just kind of rifling around, trying to figure out if there's anything that I can put in here that will brighten it up a little bit. But yeah, I put these penguins in here specifically because we got them in the new pack. I was going to put the, what are the other ones? The emperor penguins, I believe, are the ones that we have in here as well. Not 100% sure if those are the ones that we have in here, but they were too big. I really like the African penguins because they are smaller and they do like smaller footprint and things like that, both literally and in the game as well, like size wise, and like recommended area that they need to be in. So that was nice. And also they were just one of the newer animals that had come out recently, so, and I really wanted to use them. But as you can see here, just fiddling around with things. It was a bit difficult to get them deep diving. I don't know if I actually got it to work. They were just kind of freezing up and not really doing anything. Yeah, so it was a bit difficult to get them to be deep diving in the water. I didn't make any underground viewing areas either. I kind of based this off one of the penguin exhibits that I had been to recently. I didn't add the shade structure that we had or that I had seen when we were there. But I may actually go back and add that just for fun because it did look really cool. But yeah, and with that one, it was really just like a smaller pool in a viewing area. There was no underground viewing. There was no like really like dramatic theming or anything. Just very subtle, very natural. Alright, so welcome to the live portion of this. Obviously, as you can see from literally the entire thing being finished, I didn't record everything. Like I said in the first part of the video, I was really bad at recording things when I had started this. I was just really excited to really get into it. And so that kind of ended with me not really clicking the record button very many times. But here I'll give you a quick overview, and then we may do some kind of like touch cam for the rest of it. So this is the entrance. I didn't record this whole bit either. At the moment, I was really just excited to get started, so I forgot to press the record button. But yeah, so this is kind of how I started it, just kind of coming up with the aesthetic and just kind of the simplicity yet colorful aspect of the rest of the build. But yeah, so as you can see, I filled out this entire area right over here. Added in some pit shops, some little stops where people can get their food, get their water, get hydrated. Like I said, this is a very small zoo. So it really wasn't that hard to fill it all out, although it did take a while. This is like one of the first zoos that I've ever been able to finish the map on. But yeah, as you can see here, I did add in flamingos, which was very fun to make. I love their like kind of simple aesthetic here. They got some waterfalls. They have this really cool shade structure. They actually have two different types, but I like how this one turns out. And then if you want to come up the hill here, they also have their little wading pool with their food and another shade structure, as well as like a whole sleeping quarters. So they actually have some of the like the most shade out of I think most every other one of the animals. I will say, except for maybe the bonobos, because they have like a whole interior as well. But yeah, so coming over here, As you can see, I did do a bit of theming, not too much, but I did want to try and like try my hand at it. Kind of just filling in these little spots with some theming and just seeing how it would go. But yeah, just doing a little bit of theming over here, and then if you want to come up here, obviously you can see that it trails off. We go all the way around, and then we get to the elephants. Now the elephants, I forgot to record anything of building the enclosure. Either that or I did delete the recording. I'm not exactly sure. It's been a while since I did this, but yeah, I really like the way that this turned out. The aerial view looks really cool, and then obviously like right over here, as you can see, they can come and walk right over here. And then for anyone who's like just standing here or waiting or watching, like there's like no glass barrier right here, so you can just kind of watch them come through. If you would like to imagine, like maybe they have feedings over here for the elephants, but I do really think it looks cool. Kind of gives you a really up close personal view of them. But yeah, I really do like the way that this turned out. And yeah, like you can see them coming through here, and really just gives you like a perfect view of them. And then they can come over here, use any of their toys, things like that. If you walk over here, we also have another little, just a little themed area, something real nice, subtle, but it also has the other colors implemented in there. You come over. I love how this looks so overgrown and just really cool. Like you could put a story to this. And this right by the bathroom, so people can look at it. They can read. Like maybe you add in a little what would you call it? Like a little placard or something like that here with a story. Yeah, so you come over here and you are back kind of by the entrance, but then if you want, you can also jog over here, and you can see that we have some African penguins as well. And like I said, as you can see here, I didn't really do much theming inside of the exhibit, but oh, here's some of them. But I did do lots of like grasses and things like that. But yeah, and I did try and make it look a bit overgrown, just a bit, you know, aesthetically pleasing. We've got a few different places over here where they can bask, and then you go in here. And like I say, I don't ever do much to the interiors of these, just a big place where they can rest. But yeah, I really do like the way that this turned out. Let's see. And then I guess we'll do one more little look at the staff area after it's all finished. But yeah, this is one of the cooler areas, I think. I love the cars. I didn't actually know these were flexi-color for a long time, but I really do like the way that it turned out. And this leads right into the exhibit. Excuse me, that was one thing that I was really happy about for this. There's not very many places where there's not like a staff-only accessible area, both for the bonobos and the hyenas. There's a whole area over here that is staff-only, where they can get to them. And then if you want to come over to, let's see, to the flamingos, this one is a bit, let's say, accessible to not just staff, but like any of the customers or things like that that come over here. And for the elephants too, that one's a bit more accessible, but I really like ones where it's like a staff-only area where there's an entrance. Just like completely enveloping it so no one can get into the exhibit or like, you know, unlock the door or anything like that. It's something that I usually want to try and remember for later zoos or newer zoos that I end up making. It just really helps with realism and things like that when you can like have like a staff-only area where the door is, because that's normal in zoos, except for like maybe a rare like turtle, or not turtle, but like a tortoise enclosure or something like that. But yeah, but that is Pride Zoo. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know this took forever to come out, but I really do hope you guys enjoy. Yeah, and I guess I'll catch you in the next video. I don't know when the next one is going to come out, but yeah, I really want to get into a schedule and kind of just kind of get back into the rhythm of things, because I did have a few coming out like at least once a month, and like over the past few months it's just been kind of difficult, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna try and get back into it. And if you guys enjoyed this and all of my and you know, all of my rambling, be sure to give it a like, thumbs up, something like that. If you want to, you can subscribe. I promise I will get better at posting. But until then, I will see you guys next time, okay? Alright, bye!